Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We've got a great show planned for you. Another edition of Cruise Control. This week, Les, it's the Goodwood Festival in England. The Duke of Richmond's driveway was being put to good use with some cool cars. Lotus had a little bit of a crash. One of their electric vehicles did like a four-wheel burnout and went sideways.
Ooh.
So a little bit of a problem there for them. But other than that, it's been a great place to see a lot of new vehicles from Genesis and other manufacturers. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the new Rock Creek edition of the Rogue from the folks over at Nissan. This has some unique technology. They call it the invisible hood technology. Where it's a camera that gives you an interesting view if you're off-roading. So another one of those vehicles where they've kind of upped the off-road game.
That's
We've seen those.
cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And you know what electric cars actually get for their range? Consumer Reports did a lot of testing, as they do, and we have the results. They may be surprising.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's one vehicle that I reviewed that they said did really well. As a matter of fact, it was the leader in it. And I tell you, if I was going to buy an electric sedan, that would be the one I would buy. So we'll tell you about that. And then we have something called Project Midnight, which is the fastest Subaru, most powerful Subaru ever built. I love that design with the matte finish and the shiny black graphics over the top. Pretty cool. So
And loaded with gadgets and gewgaws and the biggest wing. I know you love the wing.
oh yeah, it should be a little bit bigger. We'll have a
I'm
wheel
going to
on
buy
it.
you one of those for your vibe.
That sounds good. We'll be right
And,
back.
We'll be right. And a very, very good morning to everyone. This is Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine, and as you might expect, your hosts, as we always are here to give you a whole lot of information, some pretty cool stories. This week, I'm
Not
Les
on yet,
Jackson.
Les.
Shucks.
This is Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right, everybody. You're on Cruise Control, and this is your on-air automotive magazine. And as usual, we're here to drive the machine. I'm Les Jackson. I'm riding passenger, and our driver for the day is Fred Staab. You know him. And what happened to the wheel?
I don't know. That fell out the window, but
I'll go looking.
in the meantime, we can talk about some good stories, though, including the Goodwood Festival of Speed held at the Duke of Richmond's home, the Goodwood house, kind of driving up the driveway and rally courses and a whole lot of things. But why we're interested, Les, is there's a number of reveals there, including things like the Genesis Magma, which is a cool vehicle that would be coming out.
Yep.
And also going to talk about a cool new convertible from Polestar. So, seeing a lot of new hardware there, aren't we?
Yeah, it's interesting how these reveals are happening in different places than they ever used to. It's very refreshing. And Nissan rolled out the new Rock Creek edition of the Rogue, and it features an invisible hood mode, which allows you to see very, very different and very, very precise what's ahead of you when you're not on a paved highway, which is kind of important.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we'll talk about that. Some cool new tech. And then what about electric cars? Do they get the actual range that they claim to get? Well, Consumer Reports did some testing, and they have given us some results, and we'll tell you about them. Could be pretty surprising.
It will be. And then there's Project Midnight. This is Subaru's. Man, this is incredible. This is their most powerful WRX ever, and I mean powerful. It's lunar amounts of power. We've got some photos of it, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we sure do. And that is also going to be running up the driveway at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. So we'll talk about that. And why are some of the electric vehicle owners being told, hey, you can only charge your vehicle to 85%? We'll tell you why that is. And is this going to be an industry trend? So we'll talk about that and more when we get started on this edition of Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's the show you've dialed into, and we are just getting started. So stay tuned. Check us out on all our social media platforms, and we will be right back. Fred Staab and Les Jackson, stay tuned because you're on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Let's kick it off, Les, with the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Now, this is the Duke of Richmond driveway, his facility.
Yeah.
The Goodwood House.
Such a driveway. Yeah.
Yes, the current Duke of Richmond is Charles Henry Gordon Lennox. We call him Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah, we have where is that open invitation we have there?
Yeah, but he is certainly a car guy for sure.
Cool guy.
And you know, the good thing about the Goodwood Festival of Speed, I mean, it's something, if you're in the southern UK, you can attend with free parking and all sorts of things, from rides for the kids to watching the hill climb to there's a rally course. There's displays of new vehicles, and that's where we come in, because there were a lot of vehicles on display. And you made a great point in the open of Cruise Control that, you know, vehicles are being revealed not just at car shows, matter of fact, less at car shows, but more at events like this, right? And
well, that's right. Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. They get a lot more press.
Eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in the case of Genesis, they've revealed a couple of vehicles at the event, and one of them is the Genesis Magma, which is a performance concept, which is very interesting. The GV60 Magma is supposed to come out at Q3 of 2025, so not that far away. And it was unveiled at the Genesis House in New York on March 25th, but this is kind of the first time Europe got a chance to look at it. All electric with improved battery and motor technology. So I have to read this because I just have to. It says, each vehicle within the Magma lineup will unveil unspoken dominance, captivating control, and sharpened immersion.
That's, you know, you took the words right out of my mouth.
That's what I look for in a new vehicle, don't you?
Same here. And I'm going to figure out what they mean. But the fact is, Genesis makes one of the greatest vehicles, and really terrific electric ones as well. And this is the first orange vehicle that I'm willing to say looks really cool.
All right.
I'm not a big fan of orange.
Well, they had this GV60 Magma concept, the G80 EV Magma concept, sort of like becoming their AMG, I guess, version.
Yeah.
They had a G70 Track Taxi and a GV80 Coupe concept, and they all took on the hill climb. Now, can you go up that hill climb? I mean, you don't have to go crazy up that. It's a driveway. I mean, right? And they have hay bales on either side.
Yeah, you can go up it. Actually, a lot of people have very old vintage cars, you know, from the teens and 20s, and they just putt up the hill.
Drive up the hill.
They're going as fast as they can go.
It's wide open, and it's 35, right?
And people are walking past them. But the fact is, it's what a great thing. And we kind of have a taste of that here at Hershey, Pennsylvania every year, where they drive up a driveway at speed at the Hershey Hotel.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It doesn't have the royal aspect
like
to it. It has the
Goodwood.
chocolate aspect to it, but
right.
But not the royal aspect to it. Well, not to be undone, Polestar, the performance electric arm of Volkswagen, revealed a very cool concept, the BST concept. This is a extremely cool convertible, and it made its global debut there. It features bespoke bodywork. See, these press releases are basically
Yeah, they're
just very high level here.
yes, that's right.
Uh, it finished in a classic motorsport silver with muscular flared arches, extra wide track, 22-inch forged alloy wheels, and aerodynamically optimized bonnet.
I'm going to translate for everyone. It has a lot of stuff. It's,
A very sporty looking vehicle, isn't it?
oh, it is. Actually, I like the looks of that. That'd be kind of nice to have.
Nice side silhouette. Well, when we come back, we've got a lot to get to. We're going to look at Nissan's Rock Creek Rogue when we return, and its invisible hood mode. Whatever the heck that is on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Goodwood. We're currently visiting a lovely estate, small estate in southern England. It's about 3,000 acres. So, and anyway, we were talking about the Polestar.
By the way, I was looking at the map of the Goodwood enclave, I'll call it. They have a place called the Hound Lodge. I don't know whether it's a hotel for hounds or that's where the hounds stay when they're not hunting.
Yep, who knows? There's some spectacular estates in England. Oh, boy.
You wanted to say something else about the Polestar, though?
Well,
the
yes.
BST?
Well, I mean, you gave the bespoke description.
There's not a lot of
which
info.
I won't forgive you for. Wasn't there a little bit of a kerfluffle with it at Goodwood?
No, that was actually the Lotus.
The Lotus. Okay, so
the
Polestar
Lotus was
stayed on
a
the street.
all-wheel drive electric vehicle, and it took
never
off
fails.
with four wheels smoking like a four-wheel burnout, and then it decided to make an abrupt right turn into the hay bales. Everyone was fine.
See?
It was done at slow speed, but
Yeah. Well,
let me just say one more thing about this Polestar, because here is a true electric roadster that is out now, as opposed to another company that talked about bringing out an electric roadster, but we haven't seen it. I won't mention
exactly.
This one's coming
That's
out,
right.
though.
Yeah.
And the doors will work. Just saying.
And the paint job
Paint is good.
Excellent.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on and talk about our next vehicle, which has also been released this week, not at Goodwood, but this is the Rogue Rock Creek Edition. You've driven this vehicle, the previous version of this, but this one has some interesting technology, doesn't it?
Right. It does. It's got this cool, the camera in the front that lets you see very, very large view of exactly in front of the vehicle instead of just looking down the hood.
And you don't see the hood. They call it invisible hood.
Right. It's
view.
The invisible hood. It's like it's in your windshield.
Wow. And you can see where your wheels are, where if you're they said it's great for everything from being on the trail and avoiding a rock to going to a car wash and lining your car up on a
that would be kind of
on a rack.
Kind of neat, yeah.
Kind of a tubular rack on top of the vehicle that gives it a unique look.
Interesting.
Interesting stuff. I think this is going to do well. I mean, this is the redesigned Rogue. They all get the 1.5-liter variable compression turbo engine rated at 201 horsepower, 225 pound-feet of torque. So you get great fuel economy, but you also get off-road capability. And it's just a good look. I mean, this is the big trend the manufacturers have gone through. Obviously, active lifestyle with the kayak.
Right. That's us. That's
That's the signal. That is the signal that you.
That's my kayak right there, right?
That's your kayak. But a cool-looking update. I mean, for me, you put black wheels on something, it looks good. I just like that. Those are Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain tires on the satin black wheels. Water repellent leatherette seating, which is a big trend in the automotive world.
Right.
But good looking vehicle, interesting color. Comes with all things like ProPilot Assist 2, Google built in, so that means you don't even have to connect your phone. You already have Google. So I think this is going to be a hit for them. It's a great looking vehicle. Can't wait to drive it.
I think so.
And check it out myself.
I think it's interesting that they're going with earth tone paint colors.
Yes.
Which is smart.
Yeah. It's a standout. And in general, I think the new Rogue is something I want to get into and try out because it's really been a good redo on it. And I like the gloss black front grille. Another trend we see a lot of piano black on the outside of vehicles, especially on the trim. And the fuel economy should be much improved with that engine. Stubby shifters are another thing we could talk about. Have you noticed stubby shifters are pretty common these days in vehicles? So that's what we know so far on the Nissan Rock Creek Rogue. I don't think we even know when it will be out. But
I don't think they're telling us yet.
mhm.
Um, Probably very late this year.
Yeah, I would say so. But hey, I look forward to trying it out. How about you?
Interesting. I drove a Rogue Rock Creek last year, about a year ago,
Right.
in Rock Creek Park in Washington D.C. here.
How
Uh,
perfect.
yes, but it didn't have a whole bunch of off road. It's a park.
But it looked but it the name matched up, and that
Oh, it worked great. Yeah, I
I
mean, I
think that
had to
is
do
key.
it. I just had to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have a good story coming to us from Consumer Reports, and it is about advertised driving range numbers versus what they actually got. And as you know, Consumer Reports buys all their vehicles when they do the
Right.
test. And matter of fact, when we have people on from Consumer Reports, these are the expert buyers. They buy so many cars. They're the
Exactly.
people I'll pay them to come along if I had to negotiate a price. And say,
Well,
don't talk to me, talk to him.
that's right. Yeah, here I want you to. I want to introduce you to my attorney.
Yeah, yes, he'll be
Um,
doing my negotiating, and he has full
yeah.
power of attorney for me. So,
I bet they're really, really good.
yes,
I mean, they have to be. They buy a couple, well, probably 100 vehicles a year.
yes, they're not intimidated.
Not a bit. But sure, I mean, surely all the dealers within 50 miles of there must know them.
Unless they do disguises. We're talking about Consumer Reports
Yeah.
people and
Right.
we know several of them.
Anyway.
Anyway, but let's talk about this study. They took a look at a number of electric vehicles, about 50 of them less, and they analyzed which ones actually got the range that they were advertised. Now, I
Right.
think we're still in the infancy of determining basically the MPG of the old days for
Yes.
electric vehicles.
And the overall maintenance reliability of them. They also cover that some, because people just don't know. As you say, it's in the infancy. Everybody's learning this together.
Yeah. I do think there should be a worldwide standard for testing range, though. I don't see
There
why
should
we
be. Well, there
couldn't do
will
that.
be one day, but who is going to create that standard? Should
That's
be
a
the
good question.
SAE. But
Yeah, but we don't know. We've gone through the whole thing about various charging connectors, and
right.
that seems to be coming around the Tesla connector, and then of course they they cut a lot of people
Yeah.
from their charging unit. But that's
I
neither here nor there.
I grudgingly admit that's the best way to go.
Yeah, have one standard.
Yeah.
But
So,
let's look at the results. Why don't you give us some of the results?
okay. Well, the mainstream electric cars, Hyundai Ioniq 6, got an 83 out of 100 overall score, which isn't bad.
No, it is actually the top number. That is the top number.
Yeah.
And
So
we'll
that says, you know,
it hits most of
that's
its range.
yeah.
Well,
Whereas the Kia Niro only got 71.
we will talk more about this when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Cruise Control.
And we're back, and we're still on the Consumer Reports reality check about electric vehicles. We're not knocking them. We're just saying this is what Consumer Reports has tested. They tested 50.
Right.
And these are the ones that scored the highest quotients, the highest being 83 out of 100. So nothing's perfect.
That was the Ioniq 6, right? Which did that's the best. So 80.
That's the best.
It had 83% of what it was rated at, right? I guess.
And as did the BMW i4, same thing, 83. But the Kia Niro, 71.
Which
and
is not a bad number for this study.
When we end up with this, you'll see it's not a bad number. The Porsche Taycan, I never can pronounce or figure out how they want it to pronounce. That's 76. And then Kia EV6, better, 77. The Tesla Model Y, Fred, why aren't they a little higher?
I don't know. I mean, the
They've
whole
been doing
idea
it a
is
long time.
That's their idea. Yeah, 72, right?
Yeah, 72. And Nissan Ariya, 70.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not a bad number, just not a great number. And what about the Mach-E Mustang?
70%. 70%.
Yeah.
I see a trend here, though. The Hyundai and Kia and Genesis all are scoring in the upper quadrant of this and being the best of 14. Kia EV9, 78.
Yep, 78. Now, a nice one. Actually, the highest, I didn't realize it was, the BMW iX, 84.
Okay, 84% of what it's rated.
That is the best, yeah.
And then Genesis GV60, 75. Lexus RZ, which is a great vehicle. I drove that, 74%.
The Audis, kind of equal. The Q4 was e-tron, 71, and the Q8 e-tron, 70, so they're consistent. But here's the rub. Of the 50 cars they tested, we've just given you the entire list that passed.
Yeah, some were 50 miles short of their
50 of a 100-mile test run.
So if you're paying extra and say I want to get 300 miles of range as opposed to 250, and you pay extra for a larger battery, you mean you may get 250? After all, after spending a significant amount of money for a longer range battery?
So, what have we learned here? Well, first of all, we've learned that it's everything is still in the infancy.
Yeah,
we're at the Model A Ford level of the industry. Perfectly good, but a long way to go. And secondly, electric vehicles are going to be optimized for optimal conditions, and by that standard, it's standard temperature and pressure, 68 degrees, atmospheric pressure at sea level, level surface. Then you're going to get the full range. If it's different, if it's colder or hotter, you lose electricity.
Are there, when they do this for cars, do they factor that in, or they actually do it on a dyno, don't they? Or do they actually drive them, the EPA?
Well, I'm sure they drive them later, but the dyno is in a lab at 68 degrees and level.
That's right. You're not going to find that every day out in.
But that's how fuel mileage works too. I mean, if the conditions are perfect, you'll get great mileage. If there are any deviations, you won't.
And try towing with an electric vehicle. Then you'll see some range reduction. Okay, you have a gas-powered vehicle or diesel-powered vehicle you tow, you're going to lose a lot of mileage, but in an electric vehicle, it can be outstanding.
Yeah, these days, these horrible hot days we've had
Oh, yeah.
this summer,
Yeah.
the electric vehicle is pumping the air conditioning and pumping the cooling for the battery at enormous levels. So,
Yes.
hey,
Even charging the battery, I've gone past several neighbors that have Teslas, and you hear the fan going as it's being charged. The fan, I thought, how much energy is it taking to drive that fan at warp speed to cool the batteries?
a lot.
And how much longer will those batteries take to charge because you're spinning that fan and that power is not going to the battery?
I have a friend that dropped over to pick up a carburetor I fixed for her son this past week, and she has an electric car. I won't say what brand. She was charging it, and phoned or texted and said, I'll be over in about 20 minutes. And when she got here, she said it wouldn't go past 85%. It was 100 degrees outside. It just quit charging.
Well, we're going to have a story on that. There could be something else afoot at that charger.
Could be.
So we'll talk about that. But we didn't do that. I didn't forget to do this. I just arranged it this way. I wanted to talk about something completely different than what we were talking about. And this is decidedly gas-powered. This is a Subaru WRX. It is called Project Midnight. And I really like the matte finish with the piano black graphics over it. I think that is really cool. It was piloted at the rally course by rally course champion Scott Speed. Which, where do you get a name like that for a race car driver? Mm-hmm. That is perfect, isn't it? That is like something out of Central Casting. I guess even if you didn't want to race cars, you have to with that name, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you almost, think it's a made-up name, but it's not.
And you got it. This one up the hill climb, you had the American flag, and it said Speed on the side. Perfect. You can't get better than that. So this is the quickest and fastest WRX race car from Subaru Motorsports USA. 670 horsepower turbocharged boxer engine and all-wheel drive. Wow. This is a lightweight tarmac special. 2,469 pounds is all it weighs. And this was born from the success of the record-breaking Air Slayer Gymkhana car. I love the name Air Slayer, Gymkhana car.
Air Slayer. Neat name.
Yeah. So it's based on a 2020 Subaru WRX STI and starred in its own viral video. So there is an enlarged wing. And a carbon fiber body. It basically looks like a WRX that is sitting in a giant pot. Basically, when you look at the
with a scaffold bolted to the back.
Yes, exactly. So grab as much air as you can. I bet that is wicked fun to drive, though, don't you think?
Yeah, but that's the kind of handling that's going to make you throw up.
Probably. 670 horsepower, 680 pound-feet of torque. It gets a red line of 9,500 RPM.
Oh, wow.
Spitting flames from its hood exit exhaust. Now that will get you, noticed at cruise night, huh? So,
it's going to get you noticed everywhere.
This is what I love about the car industry. If you turn engineers loose and say, well, we want to go up this hill, and here's what it is, they'll go analyze it, and they'll build something and get out the slide rule calculator and say, well, it has to weigh this much, and then we should use this much power. It's like, how much downforce do you want? Well, we're going to have to put a big wing on it. I mean, they go they engineer it, you know.
Well, they say, give us a big budget and we'll give you something that can't be beat.
Yeah. So
This is what the engineers did back in 65 and 66 for Ford to win Le Mans, and Ford gave him $23 million.
and they spent it all. I'm sure. So
That's a lot of money.
very, very cool going up the hill, and we'll have to let you know how it did on that climb, but we will. Yeah, Project Midnight.
Well, it had to win. It just had to.
I think the whole idea there is just to have fun. Do they actually award They must award a cup to the winner. Hey, when we come back, we got plenty more coming up, so stay tuned to Cruise Control.
You get a
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. You ever notice people go through a tunnel less and they hit the throttle, they want to hear their exhaust?
I have never done such a thing.
All right. Well,
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
okay, so have you ever thought of the fastest speed through a tunnel? What
You
what
know,
it would be?
I have thought of that, believe it or not. I've just thought, wouldn't it be cool to close the tunnel off and just lay into it and just see how fast this thing will go?
Well, that's what they did. Near the Goodwood Festival of Speed, Bentley revealed their new Continental GT Speed with an ultra performance hybrid powertrain, and they have achieved, using Sustain, a second-generation renewable biofuel, the longest, deepest subsea road tunnel in the world. The record in the tunnel, 208 miles an hour. Fastest recorded speed through a tunnel in the world.
How long is this tunnel?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know.
My gosh.
It's okay, here it is. I have it. 14.5 kilometers. It's a tunnel in Norway, the longest road tunnel and the deepest subsea tunnel of any kind in the world. 292 meters below sea level.
Yeah, so it's,
13 months of preparation and planning was needed to achieve the high-speed tunnel run safely. Every new Continental GT Speed can reach its top speed without modification beyond inflation of the tires to the correct high-speed pressure, which I wonder what that is.
Yeah, 8 miles. Whew, it probably took, because you're starting off in the tunnel, it probably took 3 miles just to get up to that speed.
Well, let's see. The physics of the car at VMAX top speed in a 10-meter wide tube were simulated using computational fluid dynamics, revealing that aerodynamic drag would be 11% higher in the tunnel. So more horsepower needed, right?
You're compressing the air, yeah.
Yeah. So the VMAX car, prepared exclusively for the high-speed runs with a roll cage and bucket seats, was fitted with 22-inch Pirelli tires that have been X-rayed to check for any inconsistency beneath the surface. Their car was run by former British rally champion Mark Higgins, who holds the lap record around the Isle of Man TT course, which is quite an interesting course.
Very impressive record.
Yeah, they were carried out at 1 in the morning, closing one of the two tunnels.
Okay. Sure.
Which caused the minimum disruption of local traffic, which was routed to a spare tunnel to avoid delays.
How did they? We see a picture of a camera gantry. Obviously, they couldn't follow it.
No, I wonder if how even a GoPro camera would stay stuck to the outside of it. But you couldn't do that with a camera rig. But here's the interesting thing. You asked, how long did it take to get up to speed, right? From a standstill to 335 kilometers an hour, it was just 33 seconds.
Whoa.
And
that's hard to believe. That's Veyron speed.
And it was able to hold the top speed for as long as the film director John Richards, formerly of Top Gear, required. Which we don't know how long that was.
Yeah. At that speed, by the way, the density of the air is very much like whipped cream.
And so you need even more horsepower to push through that.
Yeah, it's a function of the square of the horsepower to get beyond certain speeds. That's why the hypersonic or supersonic airplanes like the Blackbird needed 120,000 pounds of thrust in each engine.
Right. And the faster you want to go, you hit those milestones.
The air. at the speeds it went, the air was like pudding. I mean, it's no, it's true. It's that dense.
Wow. Wow.
You know, so, wow. I'm impressed.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Another example of we want to try this. Wonder what the air pressure in the tires was for the VMAX.
Oh, man.
And
60, maybe?
And how much is that air going to expand at that speed? Imagine the heat you're putting into those tires.
A lot. Those are very special tires.
Yeah.
And,
I wouldn't take my brand new Bentley out and do that to it, but
well, I wouldn't either, but I would take Bentley's brand new Bentley to do it. We've tested, at their request, we've tested various manufacturers' vehicles under, let's say,
yes,
stressful conditions.
And we both said, "Are you sure you want to do that?" It's like,
yeah, are you sure? Well, I mean, we'll do it.
It's your vehicle, but all right. Hey, you brought up an interesting topic that one of your friends brought over a vehicle, an electric vehicle, and she said it had stopped charging at 85%. Interesting this week, there's a pilot program in 10 Electrify America stations in California. It's designed to reduce wait times. It would only allow the vehicle to charge 85%. And the idea is it slows, the rate slows as it goes over 85%. This takes a lot of time. At these 10 pilot stations, it's sort of like congestion pricing. It will only allow it to go 85%, then it shuts off. You're given a short amount of time to disconnect the charger. Otherwise, you're charged idle time, where you're taking up a slot but you're not charging. And it won't let you, if you say, okay, I'll just disconnect it and reconnect it and try to make it think that it's a new session, it will know it's 85% and it will not allow you to charge it any further. I'm not crazy about this, because that would be like telling you, well, you can only go up to 3/4 on your gas tank, because there's a lot of people waiting in line. You can't fill it that extra bit. I'm not crazy about this. I do know it slows down charging. And
they all slow down as they approach over 85%. Now, of course, if you're not one of the cars that we listed a little while ago, and you're driving an electric car with let's say a 250-mile range, and it's one of those that only got half of the 250 in reality, so that's 125, plus you only get 85% of that.
Yeah.
You only get to go 98 miles on a charge before you have to find another charger.
Which may be one of the 10 limited to 85%. Another one.
That's a little annoying.
Yeah. It made me think like, wow, I really don't want an electric car if that's going to be the common problem.
Again,
right now
we have to grow into this. I love them. I just don't want one.
Yeah, I that's what I say. I tell people they drive great. They're not slow.
Wonderful.
Some people say, oh, they're slow. They're not. That is not what they are. They're not slow. But there are issues. Man. There are issues. And I don't know. Eventually, do you think there will be, beyond 220 volts of service in people's homes that would allow super high?
Yeah.
I also know people that won't put an electric car charger in their home because they're afraid of fires right now. And they won't. I know somebody that is building a home, and I asked, did you get a EV charger? He said, nope, I don't want that in my house. So level, and that's really all you get in residential level 2 charger, which is okay, but it's still going to take all night, maybe part of the next day, to charge it from kind of zero. We'll see you down the road on Cruise Control. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.